Hey there, Christopher Thunder here from the world's dirtiest workshop. We are back here with my car stereo, and I'm preparing to give the harness its first test run. Now, the thing about working with screws and car stereos is I have done this so many times it's not even funny anymore. I drop a wire and or I drop a part like a screw or some other small thing, and that small thing goes bing boing bing and then goes right down that crack. Then it goes bing boing bing boing bing and then winds up down there, way down there, behind something, inside something, impossible to get to. I am tired of that. I am tired of spending 5 minutes to unscrew something and then 3 hours to fetch the screw I lost, which I can't do that anymore. I just cannot. It's too much work just to get the screw you dropped. So when you're working with car stereos, learn how not to drop stuff. Stay organized. Remember, your screws should go in pretty easily and come out just as easily. They should have the same feel going in and coming out. If they don't, you got the wrong screw, or you cross-threaded it or something. There's usually something wrong with that screw if it doesn't feel good. Now, this is about to fall. I've got one oddball screw. It was not in there from the factory. I had to install the screw. I pulled it out of my kit, and it's a custom job. And there goes the car door. It is windy. Now, I'm going to pull the car stereo out with that screw. There we go. So that's how not to drop stuff. And I put all those screws together. Now, give you some more light here. I now have this harness. I now have this ATOTO stereo. Now there is a USB plug here, which I need to route, but this is pretty straightforward. You just want to make sure that wherever the key is, you can see that there's a brake on the top row, that associates with the brake on the top row in the plug. So I'm trying to get you to see this. So that is now in there. That is in position. Okay. Now, with this USB, there's a USB cable here. Okay, so you see the cable hanging free. What I want to do is I want to just pre-run that. Chances are when I install this, the way it is, it's going to be this way for a while until I can get the rear backup camera installed, which means running a whole new line and all that stuff. So how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to try and run it down to the left and see if it falls out the bottom. And then I can retrieve it and then mount it to the dashboard on the other side. That is not going in the direction I thought it would. That is really going way behind stuff. So the first order of business is to get the USB line run and get it to come out somewhere on the left side of the console. That's really kind of important. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to let it set in the stereo and then go fetch the line from the other side. But what is important here is that I'd be able to hold the stereo in position one way or another without scratching the dashboard. Now you saw all the tape I had laying around here. Very important. Plug it all together without causing any problems. All right, so it looks like it's keyed the other way. Almost put it together upside down. So now that's correct. There are 4 other plugs here, including a USB port, which I will not be using at this time. I'm just going to tuck the wires back in there for a moment and just set this in. Everything's taped so I won't scratch the dashboard. Then what I want to do is I just want to put in 1 screw, maybe the one from the kit. I want to put in that 1 screw and hold it in place. Let's see if I can do it with the old screw gun here. I'm going to try and use my finger to guide it in. And I just dropped it. A little too cumbersome. Can't get my fingers in there quite the way I want. A little too tight. All right, so that's not going to be the best screw to use to temporarily mount this. I'm going to use one that's a little bit more easy to reach. So I'm going to go up here and do it with this one. So now I can hold it with my thumb. I don't have to worry about it. Good. All right, that's safe. Now I'm free to go over and reach up behind and pull the USB port through. But it's wired. It's ready to go. And I can stick the key in the ignition and power it up. So I'm going to save that for a different video. But this is the phases of everything. You want to make sure the wiring harness is not pinched. You want to make sure that your accessory lines like your USB port are accessible. You want to make sure everything fits and goes in nicely and works. Now, I'm not going to put in the bezel yet. What I am going to do is I'm going to pull away the front face of this so I can see behind it a little bit. I'm not going to pull it all off. So you see I have a clear window here. That's all I need to see really is that. Okay. And then I'll know it's working, but I'm not going to keep it running for too long because I don't want it to overheat. I just want to see that it's on. And I don't have my keys with me right now, but that's really all I need. So we'll finish this with another video. This is just another step in many, and you'll be able to see me turn the key and power this thing up. Thanks for watching me, Christopher Thunder, from the world's dirtiest workshop. Bye-bye.